I'm noticing that it says package OpenVPN. I'm guessing that Puppet actually understands DPKG and RPMs and same for ensure running. So it actually understands you have init scripts and
absolutely. Well, one of the major cool things about Puppet is it speaks the local language, and since it's based on Ruby, it runs on almost all Unix and Linux variants, macOS included, not Windows. Although I've read something about running Puppet in Cygwin, but if you say I want service OpenVPN in Red Hat, it just uses the Linux standard-based stuff. But on BSD, I guess Ed can answer this. Does BSD use another init?
Well, the file name is a little bit different, but you can just the configuration is also different. There are no symlinks stuff, but it's similar.
Yeah, well, Puppet does understand the difference from BSD and derivatives and Linux. So the cool thing is, if you have this picture, and this is a Debian node, this is a Red Hat node, and this is a Ubuntu node, for example. You can apply the configuration to all three nodes without changes.
So, what about inconsistencies between package names? For example, if on Debian the package is called OpenVPN, while on the BSD it's called OpenVPN version number.
That's a problem, but there's where the if statements kick in.
Oh, there are reasons.
Yeah.
so you can cope.
Sorry?
You can cope with the problem.
Absolutely. Puppet uses a library called Factor, and Factor is based on Ruby as well. And Factor, it returns facts about the system. So the Puppet standard file types and package types and stuff, they use Factor to figure out on what system the Puppet client is running. And if there's a need for custom facts, it's open source stuff, so you can make your own facts. And you can do two things. The example, like we discussed a few seconds ago, if a package name is different, you can say, if I'm running on Debian, install OpenVPN. If I'm running on Ubuntu, still install OpenVPN. Or if I'm running on BSD, install Open-VPN, if, for example, the package name is mentioned like that. So conditionals are, I guess that they're really strong in this type of language. Other questions? Yes?
If the configuration file is changed because of security updates or something like that, does Puppet know, server know about that? Or does it get overwritten again?
Well, like I said, it checks the MD5 checksum, and then it figures the MD5 checksum is changed. So yes, it does overwrite to the file. So it's important if you write configuration files which you distribute by Puppet that you take that in account. For example, if you have a Debian node running Edge and you upgrade it to Lenny, I guess a lot of people do that, you really need to make sure that if some defaults change in the file, that you take those changes in account, because else your configuration will break. In our experience, it isn't a real problem. When you use Debian, they often make sure that if you jump from version 1 to version 2, that the configuration files don't change that much. So, but of course, there are some cases when it does go wrong, but there's conditionals, so you can take that in account automatically. You can make an if I run Edge, use this config. If I run Lenny, use this config. That is possible. Yes?
Apart from having conditionals in the script you write, is it also possible to use conditionals in the configuration files themselves, like for example similar to the C preprocessor? If
it does support templating.
Okay.
You can use Ruby templates to generate config files if you want to.
Well, that's pretty good because, for example, the reasons path names are also quite different.
Yeah.
So if that means that you have to keep track of different configuration files for each operating system, then it's pretty hard to maintain.
Yeah. Yes?
Same question.
Oh, all right. And I'll walk back. Yes?
If I understood correctly, because it runs every 30 minutes, it's configurable.
Yeah.
I've shown there's also an option to manually push configuration files or not?
Yes, if you want, you can. We have a script called Puppet for that, and you can run it manually on a certain node, and then it applies the config at once. But, like I mentioned earlier, Puppet also has a push model option if you want to, but I'm not familiar with the push option. But in our case, logging into to a certain node, if you need the configuration applied at once, keep the Puppet process running, works quite well for us.
Sorry?
Yes?
Just one other question. Does it actually know AGS, however you please spell it?
Could you please speak up a little?
No, AUGEAS it is called. It's a tool which can actually read a configuration file and make changes, but it understands the config file. So if you change some host name in a conf file, it will not overwrite the config file, but it will just adjust that one property of the config file. I was just wondering whether there is some integration with that tool and Factor which is doing the work.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, one of my ex-co-workers is the Debian package maintainer of that library. So, yes, absolutely.
Because that will get over the problem of there is a security update which includes a config file, and Puppet will, if it's installed, Puppet will just replace it. And if it would be using AGS, it would just take all the new changes and just change a bit that you have defined.
Yeah, it can work that way, but in my personal opinion, I speak for myself, I think it's still not really mature. But yes, there's a lot of development in this area, and at least basic support is quite well implemented. But for the time being, I'm talking about lots and lots of hosts, so we try to be very, very consistent in the software platform we use. So in practice, it's not a real problem for us and not really needed. But since we want to actively bring stuff back to the Puppet community, my ex-coworker wanted to make sure that Debian users can use the August library as well. Like I said earlier, I wanted to talk about Puppet in real life as well. We run several Puppet masters, and now you might wonder, why don't you just run one very, very, very large Puppet master? Well, because of performance. I'll get to that later on. But the largest Puppet master we have, it controls about 150 puppets, and I must say it works well, not flawlessly, but it works very well. We use it in multiple environments. Some of our clients have real development, staging, and production environments, and using Puppet, it's quite easy for us to maintain a certain code base for development, a certain code base for staging and for production. And since we stored all config in a version control system, it allows us to easy upgrade production to staging, or easy upgrade staging to production, for example.